It's extraordinary. It's an amazing feeling to have set out on a path of wanting to become an actress from when I was about 5 years old, and to have been so fortunate and blessed in my career, but particularly in the last 10 years, to have found myself in a position where I can use my voice to do things for other people, and that somehow in turn becomes inspiring to others. And it's a remarkable feeling, actually, and it's a responsibility as well. I mean, I do very much take it on as something that, has to be continued and is talked about, so that other people will feel compelled to help other people.
Absolutely. And why it's important for us.
Well, for me, I mean, there's a really interesting thing that happens when you're an English actor, and people often assume that you come from great sort of pedigree and wealth and etc. My father was an actor. Actually, my father is a disabled actor, and not many people know that, and I don't particularly talk about it very often. But so he had a very serious accident when I was 11 years old that left him disabled, and he was a father of 4 children, of which I was one. So his acting career changed completely because suddenly he couldn't get work because of his disability, and we were helped in similar ways by an organisation like SAG-AFTRA back in the UK. And if it weren't for that organisation, my parents would not have had the resources to literally get us school uniforms and bus fares. I mean, it was that difficult for us. So to have something like this is incredibly important, because apart from anything, when you're a creative person, if you can't be creative between times, between jobs, that in turn can actually make you feel really depressed. It can cause all kinds of insecurity issues, confidence suffers, and that obviously then trickles on into other issues in life. And having an organisation like this one that does fill in those gaps is fantastic, and providing that sort of safe space and that sense of community so that people don't feel alone and don't have to feel desperate, I think it's absolutely fantastic. I really do. I fully support it. I think it's just wonderful.
It's so wonderful that you use your platform. It's important for you to use this platform. This is really the calling, right?
I mean, it's really interesting because it is something that's come to me in the last 10 years, and I also work with a charity in England called Cardboard Citizens, and they are a homeless people's theatre company. So they're quite extraordinary. The representatives from the organisation go out into the streets of London, and they just find homeless people and tell them about their workshops. So they go into prisons and they give performances so that the inmates know that there's an organisation they can go to when they're released from prison. I've been to several prison workshops that are just extraordinary. And for me, it's really about helping individuals who just can't help themselves, or don't have a voice, or literally can't speak, or don't have the means with which to actually live, or perhaps they don't have the confidence, or perhaps their homelessness and their past has dictated a really terrible outlook for the future. And that I can't stand it. I just can't. I really can't. And so for me, anything that I can do to provide that voice for those people, or create the debate, the discussion, support them just by talking about what they're experiencing in life. And with autistic individuals, it really spilled over into support for the families as well, because so often the families, the parents of these children suffer because they live in fear of what will happen to their child. God forbid should something to happen to them. And so I was inspired to start the Golden Hat Foundation with my friend Margaret Eriksdotter, whose son Kelly is a non-verbal autistic man. Actually, he's now a man. But it's a huge privilege to be in a position to help. A huge privilege.